We're just going to wait for 3 minutes, everybody, and we can get started with today's session. If there's people, wait for 3 minutes, everybody, and if you could just, anyone that's online now, could you just pop a reply in the comments just to let me know you could hear me okay, if there's no echo, because I'm trying to stream this on YouTube as well as Zoom. So I want to make sure that the quality's right from the Zoom end, first of all. So if you could let me know in the chat, that would be great. Hi, Gordon. Thanks for joining. Hope you're well. So like I said, we're just a little bit early. I thought I'd start early just so we can get tested okay. It's the first time we are streaming live to YouTube as well as Zoom. So I just wanted to check that works all right. Feel free to start putting some questions into the chat. Anyone needs a link to the YouTube? It is Entrepreneur James is my YouTube channel. So you just need to subscribe to that, and it should be in the live chat, the live session on there. See, Jean's joined. Hi, Jean. Hope you're well. Got a few people entering in the room now, which is great. So welcome, Andy. Welcome, Christopher. Welcome, Gordon. Welcome, Jack. Welcome, Jean. Welcome, Michael. Michael's from Indonesia. Welcome. Feel free to put in the chat, everybody, just where you're calling from around the world. Introduce yourself into the chat, which would be great, and then we can get started. Okay, screen's okay. Sunny Bournemouth, Andy. Yeah, I used to, funny enough, go on holiday to Bournemouth every summer with my family. So I know the place well. I actually had football trials for a few weeks down at Bournemouth back when I was younger. I think when I was like 18, 19. Lovely place. It was just a long drive. It was like 8 hours from where I am in Newcastle. But the weather's really nice down there. So I think we'll just get started. So we've got a few attendees on the call, which is great. What we're going to do is there's a piece of training that I'm going to run through today for you in terms of a strategy, how to grow your recruitment agency in a recession. I'm going to cover off 10 key points that you need to consider when this epidemic's over and what you can be doing now. And then what we'll do is we'll open the forum up to Q&A. So feel free to put your questions in the chat. Once I start screen sharing, I'm not able to see the questions until after I stop sharing the screen. So yeah. Jean's from Boston, we all know. So Jean's part of our Recruiter Accelerator program. So thanks for joining this call, Jean. And he's saying he's went to the Bournemouth game up there last year. Love a night out in Newcastle. Yeah, it's good fun. I'm sure you guys beat us last minute, if I remember rightly. Gordon, obviously another member from Recruit Accelerator. So welcome, Gordon. Gordon is based in South Korea. So cool. Ralph's just entering in. Hi, Ralph. Ralph's from Switzerland. I said we'll just give it 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Good stuff. Right, I'm going to dive straight into the session, and like I said, we'll open it on to Q&A in around about 10 minutes or so. The call's going to be on for the next 45 minutes, give or take, depending on how the questions go. There's a live Q&A opened. Liam's put it in the Q&A chat, which is great. So if you do that, I think that would be better than putting it in the actual chat. So make sure you're asking the Q&A part. So welcome, Liam. Liam, where are you from today? In the UK, I think, or Ireland. Good stuff. Great stuff. So we've got about 10, 12 people on, so that's great. Like I said, I want it to be a closed group so we can make it really valuable for you all. Okay, so you should all be able to see my screen now, which is great. So welcome everyone to today's private mastermind webinar, how to grow an agency in a recession. So I'm sure we're all a little bit concerned or worried, or some of you are worried in terms of how the market's going to shape out over the next few weeks. A lot has changed. Obviously, there's been a lot of recruitment agencies actually go out of business, unfortunately, which has been a big shame for them. A lot of bigger recruitment agencies really suffering because of their big overheads. They've got a lot of employees and responsibilities, and unfortunately, when the revenue dips from 100% all the way down to maybe 10-20% of what they should be achieving, it puts a lot of strain on businesses. So what I wanted to do today was share some tips and strategies that I think will help you get through this recession over the next 90 days or so, what you can go away into the business and actually implement today. And then at the end, we'll open it onto a Q&A. And if anyone else is interested after that call, you're welcome to book in a strategy session with myself to see if I can further help you and maybe get you involved onto our Recruit Accelerator program with the likes of a couple of members that are on the call today. So here's what we're going to cover. So we're going to cover 10 key areas that I think are critical in the next 90 days to make sure your agency is as recession proof as possible. So first, you are a marketing solution. So we're going to cover off that part. We're going to go through why it's important to be really mile deep in your niche at this time. We're going to talk around market positioning and if you need to pivot. We're going to go through 10xing your online presence, what to do when it is tough and how to adapt, how to release importance in terms of your mindset and objectives for winning new business. We'll cover off the topics of how advertising is so cheap at the moment as well, especially across the different social platforms, payment plans, conversations, and mindset. So I'm just going to double check. Just going to double check that everyone can see me okay. See if the Q&A works. Yep, all good. Should be back in here. Okay, as the famous Charles Darwin says, and I thought we will start off with a famous quote, which I like to do. In nature and business, it's not the strongest of species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but rather the one most adaptable to change. And this time more than ever, this quote is very relevant by Charles. And In context to recruitment agency world, this means that it's not the biggest, most powerful recruitment agencies that survive, nor the most intelligent in terms of the market leaders in the market. It's the ones that are most adaptable to change. So that means that we might need to change our either market itself, we might need to change our messaging and how we resonate with our client avatar. It might be how we approach the clients, how we deliver a service, how we productize our service, and how we add more value in terms of as an agency. What are you going to do in the next 90 days so you can really differentiate from the market? Because when things go back to some sort of normality and companies start hiring again, these companies are going to be scarred a little bit and need to be lean and agile. Like I always say, every agency needs to be. So from a cost perspective, they're going to be like, well, what else are you offering me apart from a CV, apart from a candidate? Can you give me more? So things like marketing potentially, could you help them with the branding piece, the social media marketing, email marketing? Could you partner with events, webinars, all of these different types of things? Can you really be ingrained in companies as well? Because we started adapting from our agency, Ronald James, into really providing true partnerships with companies where we do all of those pieces with them. And that's really important to consider in this time as an agency owner, or if you're looking to get into launching your own agency, having that mindset around being adaptable to change, because what worked then doesn't necessarily mean what works now or in the future. So getting straight into it. So how to grow your agency in a recession. So the first thing, you are a marketing solution. So you really need to understand how to sell it as value and how to give a proper value solution. So I touched on that just briefly earlier. What are you offering in the market that is different and unique compared to everybody else? We need to get away from just selling in a CV or selling in a candidate. Yes, that's what gets you started. But when you start to really deliver your key service, what other solutions can you offer to your client base, to your niche market? So that's one to really consider. Is you are going to be, again, it's a painkiller, isn't it? So when you have a client, they need a solution, and their solution is normally the candidate. I come in and do a job. Now you need to make sure that you can actually have a full solution around, is it going to be a marketing service that you can help offer? What type of value add can you add on top of just providing a candidate? Number two, mile deep. So we've all heard the phrase inch wide, mile deep. So sticking to your core niche. So not a mile wide. So you don't want to, in this start of panic, when you've picked your niche market, stick to it, unless it is going to be really damaged in a recession, which we need to look at and maybe pivot, as obviously the famous quote said with Charles Darwin. You need to analyze that, make a strategic decision. Is this market going to get me through a recession? Is it still going to be in demand? If so, now is the time to make sure that you're mile deep. So don't start getting sidetracked into different vacancies, different roles that don't give your core value and your core niche of what you want to serve. Now if it is a time to redefine your client avatar and the pain points, yes, because what was the pain points for your client before all of this COVID-19 situation happened might be a slightly different pain point when they get back to some sort of normality in the next few weeks, which is when I'll come on to, I think, point 8 or 9 around having conversations with your market. Now is the time to really redefine what your client avatar is, what pain points are they going to be suffering, and how can you help them with a solution. So like I said, keep in the mindset, it's not just the solution of a CV or providing a candidate. What else on top of that can you add? So the more value you add into your market at this time is really crucial. So things like, could you do more videos? So could you provide more value across LinkedIn, social networks? Could you joint venture with them and do a webinar around their target market, around the industry of what's going on in the market? Could you start doing podcasts? A few people start doing WhatsApp groups with the business leaders within their niche around the struggles around what's going on with COVID-19 and to help all of these other businesses in this time. Things like that is going to be really key when you go through this recession, is all around going deeper into your niche. And when I say that, it's really inch wide, mile deep is now more than ever. Do not start going off into different phases unless, like I said, you sit down, you do the market research, and the market dictates that you need to pivot and move markets. Do it, and do it with conviction. Thirdly, market positioning. So understand how to show your unfair advantage. Like I said before, around the different product offerings that you could offer, or the different type of value proposition, because clients need to see you as the lifeboat as they're in their time of need. So yes, you can find the candidates for them, but what else can you do in their time of need? So market positioning is very, very important. This is your time to really market your agency out to show what unfair advantage you have. Fourth, 10x online presence. Now more than ever, do you need to be seen online? Every hiring manager's at home at the moment, working from home, working with kids, sitting in a home environment. They're online, and this is the time to connect with them in their time of need. So really, you need to 10x on your online presence, or at least double down on it. So more content, more social posts, more video content, more blog content, more partnering with webinars, having conversations, which again, I'm going to touch on in a moment. This is the time to really 10x your online presence and be seen and heard. Fifth, when it's tough. So yes, it's going to be tough for a lot of you through this transition period, and depending on what market you're in. The key thing is, when it is tough, this is when you need to really triple down on your marketing activities. So that's really key. So what else can you do to go above and beyond to make sure you're being seen and heard in the market today? Because in times of need and when it is tough, this is when you really need to roll your sleeves up, dig deep, and actually provide some value into the market. And this is when your marketing skills become their own, because the businesses that will survive this and the agencies that will thrive in this are the ones that can adapt to online marketing, to being able to have an unfair advantage in terms of the products and the value that they're bringing. If you're coming to market just again with sending CVs and just a standard value add that was traditional, that's when you're going to be swamping in the sea with everyone else, trying to survive, quickest race to the bottom in terms of fees and what you're going to bring. This is the time to really triple down on your marketing activities when it does get tough. The sixth lesson is release importance. So I am a massive believer in mindset and what you project in the mirror of the world, you reflect back. So the more stress you put on actually making a placement or winning a client a day, the more chance of friction you're going to get, because everyone's not thinking about hiring today. Some markets are, and some people are lucky in that market. Where in the IT market, so some clients are still hiring today physically and interviewing remotely, onboarding remotely, and hiring remotely. Brilliant. Now, companies are going to start to adapt to that more and more, because the economy needs to go around and businesses need to survive, and economies of scales, you have to keep the money flowing. But in terms of your mindset, try and remove yourself over the next 90 days of winning that client today. Try and forget about it. Focus on making sure your current client base and your mile deep niche know exactly who you are. So what I mean by that is, like I said, the marketing activity, the email activity, the conversations you're going to have, the social media activity, all of these different touch points that you're going to be doing in the market now without the need to sell. Yes, we all still need to make money and still need to do deals, but it's just the mindset shift of releasing the importance of it. The more importance you put on winning that client, the less likely that will happen. General rule of energy flow and quantum alignment and law of attraction, however you look at it. it's very important to release that, because the more you release that, the more you attract. So you will win clients off the back of just focusing on making sure every client in your market knows exactly who you are. Seventh key thing to grow your agency in a recession is advertising is really cheap. It's so cheap now. Now, Facebook ads, I've looked at for quite a while. Even just looking at Facebook ads at the moment, online ads are almost 10 times lower than they were 6 months ago. So that's 10 times cheaper. So say if you were paying £10 for a lead, now it's only £1. The advertising is so cheap. And if I was in your shoes, I mean, what we're trying to do is do some more brand building and getting our products out there more to our client base. Advertising is really cheap. Yes, we might not win the client today, tomorrow, next week, but in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, we've captured that lead and also marketed to our potential client audience or candidate audience. It could be, if you need to find candidates. You can do that with the likes of Facebook ads, the likes of LinkedIn ads, the likes of Google ads, the retargeting ads. All of those ads are really, really cheap now. So to get noise and, like I said before, to be known in your market and the market positioning, to get you unfair advantage, to get out there in the market, advertising is really cheap. You don't have to spend a lot of money to make yourself be known and recognized. Not many other agencies are thinking about spending advertising at the moment. So if you can proportion even just a small part of your budget now, you will reap what you sow next quarter and the quarter after that. The 8th point is payment plans. So one of the key things that I've done in my agency, and I think you should in yours, is use extended payment plans to offer to your clients in need, because cash flow is going to be key for every business and us and everyone else. Yes, cash is king and very important to look after the money. So how you can offer and spread payment plans, you could maybe, let's say you do a $8,000 to $10,000 placement or pounds placement. You don't need all of that money up front, because a lot of that will be profit, give or take. If you're a solopreneur, if you've only got a small boutique agency, your overheads are going to be lean anyway. So as long as you're covering your costs and your overheads in terms of the first payment that you get across the payment plan. So let's say you had, let's say it was £10,000 fee, and you shared that by 6 months, that's £1,666 a month in terms of the payment plan. So you could say, well, I'm going to take £2,000 up front for the first payment, which is due in 7 days. So make sure you get the full commitment up front, and then you spread in the £8,000 over the other 5 months. So it's £1,600 a month for the rest of the payments. So you can be creative that way, because then you've got cash constantly dripping in, but also that you've covered your costs. So at least bringing in 20% of that fee initially, make sure that you're not going into debt to service the other clients, but also what you're doing is just distributing out your profits from that placement over 5 or 6 months. And the fact that when you're lean and agile, you can do that. Bigger recruitment agencies will struggle to be able to offer that service for everything with their back office and different consultants working on different markets, and it will be a mess for them. Whereas you, if you're just a solopreneur or a small boutique agency, you can do these nimble things that can be the differentiator between winning that client's business or either furthering that relationship with the client to get exclusivity and retained over not. So you could do that in 2 ways. You could spread the payments out, and you could also look at rebate extensions. So like I said before, most companies in most markets are going to be looking at, why are we using recruitment agencies for the fee? Is this an unnecessary cost? Now, most people and most companies look at agencies, unfortunately, in that way, which is why you have to have your unfair advantage, differentiate in the market, create those partnerships with companies, but also share the risk with them now. So rebate extension, would you want to maybe extend that to 6 months and spread out a decline in fee over that, so they can get a rebate within the next 6 months and make it more risk-free for them? Look, Mr. Customer, Mr. Client, let me share the risk with you. These type of things are crucial in the next 90 days and beyond to make sure you can adapt to these things. So point number 9, and I think this is probably one of the key, most important parts, and it's not a quick fix or brainwave, but conversations. Speak to your market daily. Now, I don't need to teach you how to have conversations, but it's so obvious to me that when the hiring managers are at home now, they're not in board meetings every day. The worst they're in is a Zoom meeting like this probably. But what are they doing when they're in a Zoom meeting? They're probably still on their computer, in the background, on their emails, on LinkedIn, or replying. So now is the time to speak to your market, because you've never had an opportunity away from cold calling to make sure you get present in the market. So with conversations, you could have conversations across the social networks, on your email list, email one-to-one, actually having a chat with them on the mobile phone potentially, but having 20 client conversations. And like I said before, when you release the importance of winning the client today, and you're a mile deep in your niche, and you're offering an unfair advantage, and you're marketing your business with advertising, and they know who you are, the likelihood of a conversation coming back is a lot higher because you're relevant to them. You can help them in the future in their time of need. But now it's around engaging conversations, building those relationships for the near future. That's the key thing. If you're going to take anything away today, is target yourself 20 client conversations every single day, connecting in with your market. What's your challenge at the moment, Mr. Customer? What do you think is going to be different in the market when you get back to some sort of normality? What's going to be your big pain point then? Because it might not be just talent attraction. It might be other things around retention, culture. So have these conversations with them, give them market advice, give them updates of what's going on in the market, what candidates are saying. And finally, the 10th thing is mindset. So what you think, you become. Think positive thoughts and outcomes, you'll get positive outcomes and solutions. If you think negativity in terms of the news and the media, it's really important to switch off from that. So for the last 4 weeks, I honestly have not got a clue what is going on with coronavirus at the moment. Yes, I get the updates when needed through WhatsApp groups or someone sending me a text, but I don't watch that because the media and the news is toxic, and it's only to really get on your primal fear in terms of your brain, and to get you agitated, full of anxiety, full of the doom and gloom. So eliminate that. You need to surround yourself at this time, personal development, working on your inner self, and positive thoughts, because people right now are being reactive and have a primal fear. Everyone's on hyper alert at the moment and really uncertain. So it's important when they're speaking to you, and if your mindset's at a different level in terms of you thinking these positive thoughts, you're looking for solutions. You don't talk around the death rates and what's going on. You come from a different place. They're going to be attracted to you because people are attracted to positive people. They cling on to them. So having a strong mindset is crucial in these times as well, because this is what's going to get you through adversity. This is what's going to get you through the dips. And if you consistently do these things right and position yourself right in the market, the chances of you succeeding are going to be a lot higher, because at the moment, there's been a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty, but with that will become a new order, a new level playing field. So for the people that are just starting agencies now, or have got a boutique agency with low overheads, now is the time to really grow with that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to open it on to the Q&A, and then we'll dive in towards the final part of the session. So I'm just going to start looking at the questions now. So if you've got any questions, now is the time to ask. Obviously, we've got quite a few attendees on the call now. So Gordon had a question. So make sure you know who you are. Does that mean posting content which is more personal? How to draw a line between professional and personal? Should we open everything? Apart from any political judgments, yes, I would be as true to your authentic self, Gordon. That's the key thing here, because people are just posting content for content's sake, but showing your real life, showing your home working space, the creative stuff, around your families, like all of that type of stuff is really relevant for people now because people really relate to it. So the more personal you are and the more real and authentic, the more that content will shine through and really resonate with your audience. So I hope that's answered that question. If everyone, Michael, what should we do for being your member in your accelerator program? At the end, I'll shoot a link to booking in a call with myself, Michael, and you can take it from there. That's fine. So I'm just really keen to hear everyone's thoughts because everyone's on this call now, and you've probably got some uncertain times, you've got certain challenges. Now use this time wisely. I can help as much as I can in terms of specific cases. So please just ask a question in the Q&A part, and I can see if I can help give you some sort of direction, pointer, some sort of solution of your current situation. So I know we've got live on the call, Andy. Love to hear from you. Tell me what your challenge is at the moment, what you're stuck with. Same for you, Christopher Ingham. What are your challenges? What are you stuck with? Jack, the same. Liam, Sabi, I know I spoke to you earlier. It's nice to speak to you. No worries, Andy. Listen, have a good time. Thanks for joining the call. Appreciate you need to jump on another call. That's fine. So a question from YouTube. Oh, that's good. I didn't even realize that YouTube would come in with the questions through Zoom. So fantastic. From Jimbo Jones, thanks for your presentation. When starting growing your recruitment business, what business banking do you use and why did you choose to go with said company? Where are you based in the in the world, Jimbo? So obviously for the UK, there's plenty of different banks. Obviously you can use your mainstream bank, but there is a lot of challenger banks out there at the moment. So I think I've got like a Tide account we've used. We use a main bank account for the business, but we've got Starling Bank, Tide Bank for different expenses. There's tons of different bank accounts that you can pretty much set up within 24 hours. And I'm sure wherever you are in the world, that may be the same for you. But if you let me know, I'll do that. Yeah, thanks, Andy. I will drop you a message and we can get a call booked in, no problem. So Jimbo Jones has asked the question. Also, what fundamentals do you think are absolutely bulletproof when starting your agency? I've used this time off as a platform to build a site, set up company accounts on right terms of business. Perfect. So it sounds like you're just getting into it. Fundamentals is, which I'll touch on in a second, is basically you need to make sure the number one thing, which I know we've got a couple of our members of Recruit Accelerator in here as well, which they're going through this part, is making sure you have an inbound client machine, especially at this time. Clients are key. There'll always be candidates, and with the economy the way it is at the minute, even the tough to find industries of candidates, even where we are in technology, they're going to be a little bit easier to find because some people get made redundant, some people will lose their jobs, some people are scared of what's going on. So your client piece is key. So having an actual predictable client machine where you've got your Dream 100, which is what we teach in the program, your email automation, your live leads, and it's constantly working for you every day consistently. So you're getting front of mind in the market, creating that omnipresence. So you've got clients coming to you. That is the number one fundamental thing that I think you should do in this current time. There's never been a most important time than building a real proper inbound client machine now. So Christopher's asked a good question. What challenges have you faced so far due to COVID-19? Good question. So I would say the market's probably 40% down in terms of vacancies at the minute. So when we were doing anywhere between 140 to 150k a month, now we're doing 60, 70k a month, which is still good. We're still making profit. And to me, I think that's only going to be for a few weeks. Things will pick back up again. Yes, we can't predict exactly how it'll pick up, but it's going to pick up. There's 330 billion just in the UK getting pumped in. There's $2 trillion in the US. That money is going to trickle down and it's going to start. Yes, people are going to spend more wisely. Companies are going to be structured differently, but there's tons of money out there. It's just a case of being lean, agile, and nimble at these times over the next few weeks, making sure you're front of mind in the market. And and that was it, making sure you watch the cash. So I'm really making sure payments are getting made, nothing over 30 days that goes overdue, really being strict with your follow-up process, chasing the invoices. Even I'll do that personally. If there's a large amount outstanding, I'll give the CEO a call or reach out to them direct, say, look, can you help us out? We're a boutique agency ourselves. We need to make sure that we collect the fees in quicker. So another thing that you do with that is offering, if the client pays within the first 7 days, you'll offer a 5% discount off the fee. That sometimes works really well and clients will appreciate that. So I hope that's answered your question, Christopher. Next question is from Liam. I think you're based in Ireland. I'm slightly concerned about setting up and having 6 months restricted confidence, 6 months restriction in your contract, I think you mean. I had everything timed before COVID-19 started. Don't be concerned, Liam. There's honestly never, ever been a better time to start an agency if you are a recruiter. More than happy to hop on a call with you. We can put together a strategy session. Like I said, at the end of this call, I'm going to offer you guys to book into my diary. The link's there, entrepreneurjames.co.uk/schedule. Just hit that, pick a time in my calendar. I've literally got time, I think, set aside over the next 2 or 3 days to help the likes of yourself, Liam, give you a structure to set up. But if anything, like, I'd be so excited. If I was in your shoes now, I'd be so excited because now is the time. There's things around restricted confidence I can help you out with. I've been through that myself when I left and started my own agency. There's things you need to certainly adhere to and respect, but there's an abundance of markets and money out there that you could use. You definitely want to be using COVID as a situation to work on yourself, invest in a mentor, work on your personal development. Like, I've learned so much, even myself still, over the last few weeks, because I've had no distractions and I've been in the house working and then also reading and working on my personal growth as well. So hopefully that's answered your question. Shri, what's your take on freelancers coming together in a marketplace and working together? I'm not too sure. I don't have too much of an opinion on that. I'm a little bit uncertain what you mean. So if you could expand, that would be great. Hi, Michael. Michael, may I know your standard rate for your current clients right now? I mean, after extending the payment period, should we decrease our recruitment fee as well? Everything's a negotiation, Michael, so you don't want to decrease everything. So if you're extending payment periods, don't decrease your price for sure. You could decrease your fee if they pay straight away within 7 days. Could be the option. Standard rates, anything from 16.5%, 20-ish%, depending on the type of volume that we get. Great, Liam. Just visit that page there, entrepreneurjames.co.uk/schedule. Let's get a call booked in. Jack Gilman, welcome. Jack, what rates did you charge for permanent places when starting up? I actually did a video on this. The first placement fee we ever made was only £1,000 because I really devalued my service, and it was probably more a confidence thing than anything else. But anything between 10 to 15% at the start. And then it increases the more value you bring, the more you get in front of the market, the more you can deliver effectively. You can start to increase your prices from there. I'll just see if there's any more chats in Q&A. So I think some of you are using the Q&A, some are using the chat. Next, Jack, how would you recommend getting started up given current circumstances? I think I've just sort of explained that anyway, but now is a better time than ever to get started in your market. There's never been a better time. I've actually got a few people in YouTube, which is good. Jonathan, welcome from Florida. Wow, very cool. Suki, could you please suggest for the fees for the startup recruitment agency? Some suggest to be lower. What would be your suggestions? It depends on your market and the value you want to bring to your market. So, like I said, averages are around anywhere from 12% to 20-ish%. Clients are going to be more strict on their costs. So the more flexible and value you can add, the better. Michael, do you mind to share your books that I personally must read to build a better recruitment agency? Right now, I've just bought a book named Full Stack Recruiter. In terms of recruitment books, there's not many out there. Like, I don't really read recruitment books. I just sort of just from my 12 years experience in recruitment, just pick things up from doing and learn what works and what didn't work. So it's probably more my experience than anything else. There's a lot of personal development books I read and things on philosophy and marketing, financial, business, autobiographies, but in terms of recruitment, none. Apart from like what I teach in my program, I just teach what I know works. It's tried and tested in my actual agency as well. Just wait for any more questions to come in. But yes, yeah, I hope that has answered your question on YouTube. But like I said, the main thing you want to have is an inbound client marketing machine. If you're interested, I can show you how that works as part of our Recruiter Accelerator program, because most businesses are 3 choices away at the moment from bankruptcy. Now, one of the key things that you need, whether it's me or someone else, is having a mentor there to help you, to show you the way, to lead you through this recession, to build your business properly, to make sure it doesn't fail. Because 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. I've survived that, not just survived, thrived, and I can show you exactly the step-by-step blueprint that I've made in my agency to make sure you can do the same and get yourself to 6 figures plus. Now, what I'm offering is a personal, custom, 90-day strategy survival chat, one-on-one with me, and then we'll create a plan together. And this is where I'm going to really begin to figure out your 90-day survival plan in this market and economy, how to make it happen in the fastest possible time so you can thrive. And then at the end of that call, if we decide that you're a right fit for us and we can work together and you're happy to work with us, we can bring you on board as a potential person on the program. Now, if you want to apply for a 90-day survival plan call with me, like I said, I've set some time in my diary this week Most of the days I work in my agency. Normally it's Mondays that I have off to do my coaching stuff, but this week I've really pretty much opened up my diary to make sure that I can have at least 4 to 5 calls with people that are interested in creating a 90-day survival plan and actually really getting an agency launched and started and scaled within that time. So if you are interested, it's entrepreneurjames.co.uk/schedule. On that page, you'll get straight into booking in a calendar in my diary, and we can have a call hopefully this week. So if you're interested, let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to answer any more final questions before we finish up. So if we've got any more questions. I think that's all. Jack said, how would you recommend getting started up given current circumstances? Like I said, 90-day action plan is the key thing, Jack. So if you want to book in a call, you know what to do. Liam's got a question. Tony Byrne videos and books are available. Very old school New Yorker who was a headhunter in Wall Street in the 1980s. I have heard of Tony Byrne. Like a few people have mentioned him in the past. So yeah, good recommendation, Liam. We're just going to stay on for a couple more minutes. Final questions. If anyone's got any, feel free to pop chatting below. Anyone else got any challenges or questions? If not, we will end it there. No, thanks. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you found it useful. If you're not a subscriber on our channel on YouTube, if you just type in Entrepreneur James, I try and post as much value as I can for free. So feel free to hop on there, subscribe. The more subscribes, likes I get, then the higher up the channel goes and the more I can invest in the growth. I try my best to try and post at least 2 videos a week, so you get fresh content, and the only way you'll get that is if you actually subscribe to the channel itself. And then I'm going to be starting to do a lot more lives on YouTube itself. The only way you'll get that is if you actually subscribe. But for everyone else, Liam has asked a final question. Are you using artificial intelligence for your recruitment business? Not really, but I suppose like some of our marketing campaigns and how we target candidates could be seen as a AI style predictor, but in terms of artificial intelligence, it's a very broad model of wording of a lot of companies say they use AI, but they don't. But there's clever ways that we do things in terms of our marketing for sure, in terms of the candidate, in terms of our candidate funnel and how we engage with that audience. Hope that's answered your question. So any more final questions, like I said, feel free to ask. If not, we shall end it there. So if you're interested in starting or growing your agency in a recession and want to learn this exact blueprint that I did with my agency to get it to 7 figures plus and the actual battle test methods that I'm still using in today's market, feel free to book in a call, entrepreneurjames.co.uk/schedule. And I've actually got some time slots uniquely just in my diary this week, and we can go from there. So thank you everyone that signed up through Zoom for the webinar. Hope you found it useful. Stay safe, stay healthy, switch off the news. And everyone on YouTube, the same. Thanks for joining. And we've got one more chat. Yep, thank you, Michael. And thanks everyone. Cheers.